Just when America has reached a breaking point with division, visionary influencer Danni Benson's "I'm Proud of You, Sis" bro movement taps into the pulse and heartbeat of a culture radically torn. But this loving mom's voice of reason and calm has received national recognition.
How'd you balance having your children and always traveling with the Yankee organization?
When I became a dad, I said that I would always love like a mother.
I feel like I have to try certain things or act a different way because I know some people or some kids.
So join Danni Benson as she celebrates her special guests on her show and highlights their gifts and contributions to our world.
Hi, everyone. Hey, my name is Danni Benson of I Am Proud of You, Sis, host of I'm Proud of You, Sis. Happy New Year. It is 2023. Can you believe it? It is 2023. I'm hoping everyone had a great holiday season. I guess it's back on the grind again. I'm so happy you're joining my show. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Please like, share, comment, and follow. Well, today is very interesting day. So I had my girlfriend, Alethea Shapiro, come on because we love politics. We love talking about politics. So we want to talk today about George Santos. Hopefully you guys have heard about George Santos. If you haven't, it's such a crazy situation because I guess the New York Times did a story on him a few weeks ago and find out some things that he lied about. And it's so interesting because, you know, when someone is running for a district, you would think proper background checks would be done. Just like if you and I are applying for a job, they always do like background checks to make sure that, you know, we're telling the truth, or, you know, at least, you know, just to make sure like the person they're hiring is the person they're hiring. Well, I guess they found out that the people who voted for him, most of them are finding out that that's not the person they actually hired. It was funny to me when he said in one of his pamphlets, I was going around, you know, asking for people's vote, that he was an American Jew. And to see an interview like about a week ago, and he said, I didn't say I was Jewish, I was Jewish. Wow. I cannot believe like this guy was actually lying in front of our TV. But I'm trying to figure out, is this a new normal now where people lie and we just accept the lie because we're like, people lie? Or are we going to go back to the standards of having integrity and honest, especially in our politicians, because we're putting our life in their hands. I mean, and, you know, our family lives and our children's lives. And, you know, so I have Alethea Shapiro on the show to talk about this situation. I loved her. She gave this whole rant, I call it. And I don't blame her because I would have been upset too if I voted for something or someone that wasn't the person I actually voted for. So Alethea, thank you for joining. I'm proud of you, sis. Hey girl, how are you?
New Year.
Happy New Year. How? Tell me first of all,
2020 was done.
Make me jealous because you were like, I'm so happy I'm not in New York no more.
I saw the writing on the wall. I
know
saw
you
it.
did, girl.
Yep.
So tell me, okay, so have you ever met George Santos at all?
You know, I went to a debate back in 2020. I can't remember if he was there or not. So I guess he was not memorable.
Because I'm just trying to figure out, where did this guy pop up from?
He died in 2020, but you know, it was COVID, so we weren't really doing things in person. So no, I maybe I did it. I don't know. If I did it, it could have been at that debate, but honestly, I don't remember. So he was obviously not memorable.
Okay, so I was going through Instagram and I saw your long message, basically almost blaming the Democrats for not even doing a thorough background check on this person.
Yeah.
And I feel like of course, the Democrats probably took that district for granted, thinking that, okay, New York is a Democratic state. So, we don't need to throw our money over there because the Democrat's going to win anyway, which was wrong. That's why you never take any voting opportunity for granted, because if you don't go out and vote and you don't put the money in, there's a chance that you might lose. So here comes this New York Times story. And then I'm reading so tell me what you said, because this was so insane. Because first of all, is that part of your district, your old district?
Yeah.
That's why you were upset, because you used to live there.
Honestly, if I lived there right now, I don't even know what I would do with myself. It is so painful watching it from Florida. And I keep on thinking, out of 435 seats, I cannot believe this was in my old district. This story is so unbelievable. Something is so rotten in Denmark that I don't even know where to begin. None of it makes sense. It is so outrageous. You said before that he lied about some things. No, he lied about everything. Everything. He lied about where he went to prep school. He lied about where he went to college and if he went to college. He lied about working at banks. He lied about Holocaust surviving grandparents. He lied about being Jewish. He lied about his mother dying twice, one time in 9/11 and then another time, and I think she actually died in 2016. He lied about where he lives. He lied about being robbed 2 times in his apartment. He lied about a puppy charity that he ran. Today, or was it yesterday, he lied about being sworn in.
He said he was sworn in. And he can't be sworn in because Kevin McCarthy still doesn't have the 2018 votes to be nominated as a majority House Speaker.
And the best part is that we don't even know if that's his real name. Today, they have a clip of him, hilarious, on Twitter, where they called his name, I think 5 or 6 times, Santos, and he didn't even respond. He didn't answer. And then finally he voted, but that's weird. Like, that's really weird on your first day when you're probably so nervous you'd be paying attention. Like, I don't know, like, is that not your last name so that it doesn't, it doesn't feel natural to respond to it? There's so many questions, and the story just keeps on getting deeper and deeper. I don't buy any of it. I don't buy anything that anybody's saying, and that's the Democrats as well. I don't buy what they're saying as well.
By what do you mean by what the Democrats are saying about George Santos?
Well, let's talk about the race. So George Santos was running
going against Zimmerman.
Right.
Did you know Zimmerman?
I know who Robert Zimmerman is, yes. Robert Zimmerman runs a very successful PR firm. I'm sorry. There is no way that Robert Zimmerman could not get the Oppo research to stick in the media. I'm sorry. I don't buy it. I really don't. You're telling me that Robert Zimmerman does not have a host of news reporters on speed dial in a group chat that he couldn't throw this story to and get it to stick? I don't believe it. I'm sorry.
Or at least News 12 Long Island.
Nobody wanted to take the story. That doesn't make sense to me. That's the story the Democrats are running with it. That's the story the media is running with it. That the media is blaming the media, saying the media didn't pick up the story. I'm sorry, I don't buy it. I think there's something fishy going on. I don't know what it is. We will find out. But
that's why I don't understand. How do they even trust him to even be part? I understand it because the Republicans need his seat. Because of the what it's like such a close in the majority.
Party of 4.
Yeah, so they need a seat, but how this guy could be a spy for all we know.
Well, there's also the story that he accepted a large amount of donations
700. They still trying to understand where did $700,000 of his own money he put it into the campaign. Like, where did it come from?
It cost him at the top secret, documents of America. It's crazy. And the craziest thing is that we don't have in America a way to recall him. There's no way, unless he resigns, there's no way to recall him as our congressperson. He will be seated and we'll see what happens from there. But unless he gets criminally charged, he's the congressperson.
But you know what? Brazil actually was looking for him because he lied about not committing a crime. He said he's not a criminal. He says he's not a fraud. You know what's so crazy? I think people really start believing their lies, right? But Brazil has like an account that he did check fraud.
Mm-hmm.
He admitted to the check fraud. I think he went with his mom or something like that, admitted to check fraud. But then when they went to find him, to prosecute him, he was nowhere to be found. So Brazil just said a couple of days ago that we finally found him. He's George, Santos. And we are going to file criminal charges because he never paid back what he admitted to doing, which was, I think, $700 of check fraud. Okay. You would think, you're running to be a politician, you would think you would square that off and say, okay, let me send Brazil a check real quick. Because, it might come back to haunt me. But that's how I feel like this man is so delusional. He didn't even dot his I's and cross his T's.
It's so egregious that there has to be a missing puzzle piece, because it doesn't make sense to have this many lies. It doesn't make sense that the Republicans wouldn't have researched him, found out these lies, and ran him unless they didn't think he was going to win. It doesn't make sense how the Democrats dropped the ball. None of it makes sense. I mean, I'll never understand how people can commit crimes and not be scared, to get caught. I mean, this is on another level. This is unheard of.
Unheard of, because this could have gave the Democrat side one more extra seat.
Yep.
And it's amazing because Brazil says that now they know where he is and he's not resigning, which is crazy because most people would be so embarrassed that they would just resign.
That came out of him today, sitting alone. Nobody's talking to him, walking alone in the hallways. The reporters are running after him. I mean, it is so embarrassing. For that reason alone, I would resign.
I mean, like, who wants to be seen with him at this point? You don't want to be associated with him, but they'll gladly take his vote, though.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
They'll take his vote. But you know what? But you know who's hurt the most? The constituents. Because now they're afraid that they're not going to get anything done in their district because no one's going to want to work with him.
Yep.
That's number one. So they're not really going to get full representation.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, also, I will tell you, though, I guess you get what you vote for. You know what? The voters, the constituents should have also maybe paid a little bit more attention. The New York election season, it was very weird. It was broken up into June and August. It was a weird week to do it in August. A lot of people were on vacation. I don't know. I don't even know.
I don't know. Everyone knows everyone goes on vacation in August. If you're going to do this, do it like right before the kids get out of school, which is the end of June. Because everyone is still like there.
Right.
Once July hits, everyone is like spread out. Like,
Yep.
Why would they do it in August? Like,
I don't know. Well, the reason is because they had to figure out the redistricting with the Congress. So it took some time in the courts. But my point is that, all right, well, you know what, voters, I'm sorry. That's who you elected. I mean, it is pretty crazy because last election, Swazi won, I think, by 12 points. So Santos, I think, won by, 16 points. I mean,
you want to know why? Because Lee Zeldin, who's also a congressman, was running against Kathy Hochul.
Right.
And, I'm in Long Island, and Long Island was voted, it was red. Because I guess part of it has to do with, with the crime. Mm-hmm. Another part has to do with, the mask mandate.
Yep.
Another part has to do with, the crazy, to me, high taxes.
Yep.
So I think a lot of people voted red for their personal reasons or what was best for their family.
Yep.
But I don't think that people expected I don't think everyone expected it to be red like that though, because we lost so many seats in New York.
Well,
and New York usually is blue.
Trending in that direction though. Last year, all the seats in Nassau went red. 2020, I don't know, maybe it was because Trump was on the ballot, but I'll tell you the truth. Honestly, I moved from Long Island last year. I never got the sense that it ever felt overwhelmingly blue. I never felt so supported as an activist there. I mean, there's a few million people on Long Island. It's always the same, 20, 30, 40 people doing everything. So I'm not surprised. I actually am not surprised. And that's what really bothered me after the election, when everybody was clutching their pearls in New York and making fun of Florida, where I live. Hold on one second. New York just lost the House for America. And I think it's very rich that we lost the House because of Long Island. 2 seats flipped in Long Island, and then another seat flipped in Westchester, and another seat flipped somewhere, I guess, in upstate New York. So, you know what? New York, in my opinion, is not as red as we're making it seem. Yes, New York City is very, very blue, but I'm getting the sense that New York actually,
I think New York is turning red.
It is.
What's going on is New York City is basically blue. The 5 boroughs except Staten Island.
Yep.
Staten Island is red. And then you get the pockets of the urban cities like Albany and Buffalo.
Yep.
Because even when you look at the map, it's like you'll see like the small pockets of blue, and then the rest of New York State is red.
I was like, oh, you guys are making fun of Florida, but no offense, your New York map is looking a little bit like Florida, where it's all red except for 3 blue dots. So slow your roll there, making fun of Florida. At least I know the enemy that I'm working with here. You New Yorkers need to get it together.
But let me tell you what's going on. I think a lot of the people who are in the red, I feel like, are union workers. I think that's why they're still there. Because union workers, you get your pension, right? Because, that's the only thing that's weird about, like, when I see all this red. But I'm like, if you guys are union workers and you kind of like blue,
yeah,
you want your pension. You want to retire at 20 or 25. You want your pension. But those are blue things, right?
Yeah.
But then everything else, you
voting
want red.
Yeah. Well, also, New York 3 is a very interesting district. It is the 6th wealthiest district in America.
Oh, yeah, because that's Roslyn.
Yep.
There's Great Neck. There's Manhasset.
Island.
Yeah. What do they call it? They call it the Golden Coast.
The coast. So, there are definitely a lot of white collar and 1%ers there who, at the first signal of crime or whatever, they're freaking out, and they're blue to a certain extent, but then once it starts affecting their wallets, or or they see a rise in crime. The other thing is that makes me think, which is so weird, is that I think of the district as probably being one of the best educated districts in America. It's a very upscale area. A lot of the part of the district is, but it's like, then it makes me wonder what's an educated voter now? Because to me, it seems like the district dropped the ball. It seems like the district was, a very privileged district that honestly didn't really care about paying attention to the vote and electing the right candidate. Because if they did, they would have elected Melanie Dorigo, who is running in the Democrat primary. So I'm very, very salty about this whole thing. I don't understand what's going on in the district. I'm glad.
Look, I'm gonna make it simple for you. I think it was just all about the color. If you were a Republican, you just went across Republican, because when you go to the voting booth, you just going R. If you're a blue person, you're just going blue, 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 blue.
By the way, Roslyn, which is one of the most bluest parts of the district, which usually votes about 66-70% blue. I was told there was tons of Zeldin signs there. So I don't know what's going on, but I mean, Zeldin definitely had a huge impact. And I think Zeldin probably carried him along because, like you said, they went down the ballot. They
went across the ballot. And then even with Hochul, she didn't even debate Zeldin.
She didn't?
No.
Easy.
Oh, maybe there was like one debate or something like that, but you wouldn't think there would have been more because this was like a huge race.
candidate, you know? She was just like, eh. She was
Yeah.
You would think in New York you could find the most amazing candidates, but I'll tell you, you know, the more I learn about New York politics, the more corrupt I've learned that it is. And unfortunately, it's like an old man, you know, an old white guy's game. And I mean, the blame should very much lie in the top, and we should very much talk about Jay Jacobs, who's the head of the Democrats in New York, who should be fired because he on this one. How he did not pour money into this district and make sure that Santos didn't win is so embarrassing.
But you want to know why? I think they took it for granted. I think I think we're at a time right now that you cannot take any vote for granted anymore. Because even the Republicans were surprised that it wasn't a red wave.
Yeah,
they were surprised because everyone was just taking everyone's vote for granted. Maybe I really think it's Generation Z. I really think Generation Z is coming in here and they're not following the rules no more. They're not listening to what mama says or what papa says.
Yeah.
I think Generation Z is a completely different breed compared to the previous generations because we always did what our parents told us to do and it just trickled down that way.
Yep.
But Generation Z I think it's that generation that's kind of changing the whole map a little bit.
Well, they're definitely more woke and they see how the system is rigged and life is almost like rigged for them now. It's hard, you know, graduating college, getting a good paying job, the price of college. So they are definitely paying attention. And that is where my hope definitely lies, is in the youth, because they are turning out and voting and they're not taking, you know, their vote for granted. I mean, obviously we could have more, you know, get involved, but, yeah, you know, our district, New York 3, actually, there was not a lot of Gen Z there. So it's like an older district. It's like a predominantly white district. It's an upscale, you know, district. So I don't know what's going to happen there. The best thing that we can hope for at this point is that the DA, you know, they do their investigation and there's a criminal charge and then there's a special election. And then that's going to get really, really, really interesting.
And why is that?
Because who knows how many people are going to throw their name into the ring for this one if there's a new election for Santos' seat.
But I think Zimmerman is probably going to run again.
He will, but so will, who knows? Imagine if Swazi comes back. Maybe he'll want to take his seat back. Anna Kaplan, the state senator, she lost. You know, she might want to throw her seat in the ring. The other people who ran during the Democratic primary, I'm sure will jump in. So it will definitely be a very interesting seat. All eyes all over America will be on the Santos election.
Which is so interesting because it would have been perfect if you were there with happening, right?
I know. I could not take it. Like my heart couldn't take it. Seeing Long Island turn red is really devastating. It's really devastating.
I mean, honestly, like I can understand a little bit why. Okay, so crime is up. That gets scary, especially when you have babies and children, and it seems like nothing is really being done, right? So crime is a big thing.
But
taxes is a big thing too. My taxes just went up again, and I'm just
no, that's ridiculous. The taxes are ridiculous. But I want to say about the crime, they definitely lie about the statistics of the crime, and also they're comparing the crime to 20 and 21 when everybody was in the house. Of course, crime's going to be up. People are hopeless. They don't have money anymore. They have no good paying jobs. What do you expect? If you're not going to actually help people, crime is going to go up. But it's not going up as much as the Republicans and Lee Zeldin was saying it was. And interestingly enough, the day after the election, crime was over.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah. It's really funny. I saw a statistic on Fox, how many times they talked about crime. And then the day after the election, it's just dropped off.
Well, you know what? Let me just tell you something. I used to be a publicist, and it's all a marketing game. Whatever they test the market, and whatever gets that person riled up or that demographics riled up, that's when they keep talking about it, because that's how they hopefully get that person to come out and vote. Right? There's like push buttons, we call it. You know, what's gonna make that person actually get in their car and vote? But another interesting thing happened. Republicans are finally realizing like mail-in voting actually works.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know, the Democrats were taking advantage of the mail-in voting. And because they kept saying election fraud, which there was really no election fraud. Right. I will say this, there was no election fraud. then I think the Republicans were telling their constituents to actually physically go there and vote, which is hurting like a lot of people because I don't understand why we can't just do mail-in voting. I mean, I do my driver's license on my cell phone now. We're doing everything on my cell phone now. I have my Apple Wallet. Like, I don't even have to carry my credit cards with me anymore.
Well,
I understand
that we're very behind the times in a lot of voting stuff. Also, very archaic rules. You can't even register the day of the election. New York really, you know, for as much as they call it the progressive beacon of America, it has a long way to go. And a lot, you know, we just codified Roe into law a few years ago in New York. So there's definitely a lot of improvement New York needs to work on in terms of, you know, voting and election stuff.
And then that has to do with the leadership too. I guess the next 2 years is going to be very interesting in New York and all over the country because I know we say this every single year, like every single election, like this is going to be the defining moment. But I really think, I know I'm crazy. I think this is going to be the defining moment. I think 2024 is going to be the defining moment of the direction of where our country goes. And that's a period on top of period on top of that. I know we say for every election.
I know.
But, you know, Trump, it might be Trump against Biden. It might be Biden against your governor, DeSantis.
Oh, God. Right.
Because I know DeSantis is just waiting in the wings. He's just, I know he's hoping and praying that Trump gets arrested.
Yeah.
So he can finally come in because if Trump doesn't get arrested, he knows Trump is going to bully him all the way through.
And I'll be there for it with my popcorn.
Just like what's going on in the House of Representatives right now.
My popcorn.
With Kevin McCarthy.
Yep. Starting again at 8:00 tonight, they'll be resuming the vote again.
You know, those 20 holdouts have to really hold out now because if Kevin McCarthy wins, they're not going to get any committees at all.
And you want to know something also that's really crazy? Byron Donald is my new congressman. So I had the Santos drama in New York, and Byron Donald is the nominee today that they all were putting against McCarthy. So I'm like, what? Byron Donald? He couldn't even help us during the hurricane. You think he's going to help America? This is a joke. It's a joke.
So basically, it's anybody but Kevin McCarthy.
Basically, that's what it looks like.
And I really don't think, I think this is going to go on for at least another 2-3 weeks.
Oh my God. Yeah, I don't, nobody knows. Literally, this is the first time that I listen to the news where nobody knows. Nobody knows anything. Everybody's confused. Nobody has any predictions. This is unprecedented. I think it's been 100 years since this has happened.
I think this time those 20 Republican holdouts are going to hold out because they feel that Kevin McCarthy is part of this so-called swamp of Washington, including Mitch McConnell, who is in Kentucky with Biden right now. And everyone's like, is there something going on that we don't know about? Because it's like everyone is sleeping with the enemy.
Everything is upside down in this world right now. That's why I'm so glad it's 2023. Hopefully we could start off a new year. And I don't know, because last year, just everything was going wrong. Everything in America, you know.
I just think that I don't know. I want hope for our children. So I don't want our country to go downhill, but I just want to go back to the old days of just compromise and do what's best for Americans and being civil towards each other. And afterwards, they used to go to the bar and have drinks together and be like,
however, I will say, how did that compromise work out? I guess it didn't, because look where we are today. So it's my opinion that we should not be compromising. We need to burn it all down and start all over again with no more liars and no more politicians that don't care about the people.
And you know what it is? And that starts with term limits.
Yeah.
So the next time we will talk about this. So everyone who's watching right now, thank you so much. We are going to, this is for the Optimum people. Thank you for joining us. And now for the live people, we're still going to continue the conversation. So just hold on a bit, okay? Thank you.
I have to do a hair switch.
No, you know what I think they should be? I think they should be term limits.
Yeah.
I don't think they should be lifetime politicians.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, even Biden, I'm being honest with you. I don't want him running again.
Who does?
I don't.
I didn't want
like he's gonna be like 80
time.
something years old. Even Trump is gonna be like 78 by the time he starts running again. I want fresh, young ideas, fresh young people. Yeah. That's why I think that what you just said about it burning down again and starting all over again, I think it starts with term limits.
Yeah, but they're never going to vote for that because that would strip them of their power.
But you know what? I think Florida has the first Generation Z House of Representatives, right? I think Generation Z is going to really flip this whole, you know what it is? Because Generation Z understands this is their future. Like if this country burns down, they're the ones that's going to be all screwed because they're the ones that's still going to be living in the craziness while we're all dead in the ground, right?
That's right.
I think these kids understand, like, if they don't participate and make these major changes now, they're the ones that's going to be affected. That and the generation after them is going to be completely affected. While we, like, my parents are going to be dead. Who cares? Yeah. Like, they're making all these decisions, and they're not even going to be here to even deal with the decisions that they made.
It's so unfair. It's so selfish. It
is so selfish, and that's why I think Generation Z is going to come in, and they're going to rock the boat.
Yep. Well, I also heard that in 2028, I believe the demographics will finally be in Democrats' favor because I think it's that for the first time in 2028 there will be more Black and brown people than white people.
2028.
But are we going to get there? That's the question. So I'm hoping
2028 is in 5 years.
I know. Hopefully we can get there. Hopefully we'll survive till then. Hopefully America will be still around with the democracy.
So do you really think every Black and brown is really going to vote Democratic by 2020?
No, but I hope that, we need to burn down the white supremacy. We need to dismantle white supremacy, and we need to start representing what America looks like. And it's not only white people, it's Black people, it's brown people, indigenous. So, I'm excited for when the numbers are different and we are more representative of what America looks like. And hopefully that will be represented in the Congress, but we're not there yet. We don't have the numbers to make.
But I'm confused because I thought this country was 60%, white.
No, but by 2028, the numbers will flip.
That's in 5 years.
Yep.
Wait. So wait. So where's the 60% of the white people going?
Well, a lot of Hispanic voters or Hispanic Americans, there's a big influx. So all the, generations.
Oh, so, all right. So I get it now. So you're saying all of the, well, you know what? The Republicans might stop that though, because all the DACA.
Dangerous.
All the illegal immigrants that's coming in right now. I mean, even Mayor Adams is honestly flustered because he's saying that, and I have to be fair because states like Florida, Texas, and all the border states that are bordering Mexico, they have been taking the hit too with the influx of all these immigrants because where's the money coming from? So it's taking money out of taxpayers' pockets into helping, illegal migration, right? So now Mayor Adams is like, it's coming out of our pockets now. And I think they're purposely sending the migrants to New York because New York is one of the big states that people will get media attention from. But I think the tactic is actually working because Mayor Adams is like, we need a couple of billion federal dollars coming to New York because the illegals that are coming are taking the resources away from Americans who are paying their taxes. I mean, how do you really feel about that point?
I think it's really complicated. I think that the Democrats and the Republicans actually love this issue. Like, it's a wedge issue. They can both, stir up their bases with this issue. if they wanted to solve it, they would have solved it. They don't care to solve it. And with that said, I will say that America is not this innocent country. We are going into other countries, destabilizing their economies and their countries. And so we have to also, I think we need to really pull back and figure out how are we affecting these countries in ways that are causing people to want to leave their countries? How can we help those people stay in their country? Can we invest in those countries? I don't know what the answer is, but it's not only at the border. It's we got to work really back to the root of the problem. And we want people to be able to stay in their countries. How is that done? I don't know, but that's where we really need to figure out the problem, because nobody wants to leave their countries. Nobody wants to cross the border. It is so dangerous. Nobody wants to do that.
So then how do you feel about people say about human trafficking, fentanyl? There's 300 people a day dying of a fentanyl overdose. What about human trafficking of the kids? I mean, I had a contractor who told me, how they're coming in is they're coming into these big trucks all inside, and they're paying these
Coyotes.
I guess the drivers, to sneak them into America, but there's people dying that they're not reporting. There's kids being raped. So that there is a negative side. I understand, they're coming here for the American dream. Yeah. But not everyone who's coming across the border are good, good people also. Are you not afraid of other people coming in besides the people who are leaving for asylum reasons?
I mean, I just don't feel like it's my place to judge. I don't know what it's like to live in these countries. I do know that it's not a cakewalk to get into America. So if you are that desperate, I mean, you must be really desperate to have to walk through countries for months with no food and the violence. So listen, I don't know the answer, but I will tell you, I traveled all around America. We have a lot of land. We have a lot of desolate areas. We have a lot of people who can help out and get jobs here. I feel like we could figure it out, but we got to do something. I went to the border. I saw what it was like. I crossed. I went to Juarez. I volunteered at a shelter. It's devastating. It is heartbreaking when you see these people there.
Because they're all in camps right now. And they're for the
it's
for
cold.
the COVID restrictions to come down.
Yeah,
but that's not happening right now, right?
Yep.
Because the Supreme Court got involved and put a stay on it. So I think this is going to be the year where immigration is finally going to be dealt with.
I hope so. I mean, I haven't seen Biden do anything. So it's you would think that Mayor Adams could get Biden to do something. So it's just...
Okay, so explain. I need to understand this. Why aren't the Democrats doing anything about it? I'm just kind of confused.
I'm kind of confused too.
You know what? I am a conspiracy. I don't really believe conspiracies, but I think you are right. I think something is going on.
Something's going on. And I'll tell you, this is why, I'm a Democrat, but I'm a progressive. And I really believe that the progressives are a separate party than the Democrats, because we've seen time and time again that, the Democrats, they don't always do the right thing. They don't really care to fight for the people. And the progressives are really the ones who are the people and who are fighting for the people and who are advocating for real solutions and real things that can actually make changes in people's lives and the 99%'s lives. And, Democrats, they vote great on abortion and LGBT issues, but they're not burning it down. They're not going big and going home. Biden promised a lot of things. Yes, he got a lot done, but he could get a lot more done with that pen that he has not used. So I don't understand the strategy here. You got everyone to vote in 2020. People came out in a pandemic and risked their lives to vote and elect Biden. If we don't get more done in 2024, forget it. They're not going to come out and vote. So it does not make sense to me how they are not doing everything in their power to help the most amount of people as possible in America. I don't get the strategy. It's a losing strategy.
Well, so who would you want to run besides Biden? Are you going to say Bernie?
Listen, if Bernie...
Is Bernie old? You know who I like? I like what's it, the minority House Speaker, Jeffrey Hawkins is Hakeem.
Hakeem
Yes.
Jeffries. Honestly, I don't really know too much about him. Even
I don't, but he is like, well, I'm just like, wow.
Yeah, I don't know enough about him. I did hear someone say yesterday that like you would expect him to be more progressive than he is because he's a New York City congressman and he's not. So that a little bit like makes me like, that's weird. But I mean, centrist candidates do not inspire people to get out and vote. They don't.
But Alethea, you have to understand, like you got to kind of have a centrist moderate to get the other side to vote for you, and the independents too.
I don't think
if you're gonna go really like progressive, then it has to be like a 50 state, like a 50 state thing going on. It can't just be one state. Because once you go to DC, you're gonna have the moderates, and then you're gonna have the progressive, or you're gonna have the Tea Party or the Magnas versus the moderate Republicans. It's just, look what's going on in the House of Representatives right now. It's just too much mixy. When it's too much mixy, it's hard to get anything done.
But we're mixing a lot of the same. Maybe that's why. It's and that's why
I think term
candidates, people don't care. Like, they just don't. We elected a lot of progressives this time around. Progressives at least have bold ideas that inspire people. I mean, doing more moderates, it's the same. We've been doing that for how many years? 100 years.
You're right.
And now it's not working. And I will tell you that there's definitely some overlap between MAGAs and Bernies. It's this mentality where you feel like the system is rigged, that, nobody's really fighting for you. Politicians are liars. There's a lot of corruption. So I do think that, progressives can win over some red voters if the red voters will listen, will open their ears and not be poisoned by Fox News. Because if they actually listen to progressive agendas, it really helps them as well.
Yes. But thank you. I can't wait for you to come next month. This was such a great conversation. Hopefully by next month
we'll have a lot.
We'll have a majority House Speaker. I don't know who it's going to be, but hey,
so much can happen.
You never know.
Who
knows?
You
never know. But I can't wait for us to come next month to talk about this conversation, because I cannot wait to what's going to be, because now it's going to open all this other stuff about they're going to get us, Democrats back. So instead of trying to improve the country, we're going to still do all this stuff that we always do.
But why the next 2 years?
Yeah. Oh my God. But thank you to Alethea Shapiro for joining. I'm proud of you, sis. Host Danni Benson, thank you for joining us, and see you next week. Bye, everybody. Thank you. Happy New Year.